I like to believe that most of y'all who watch these YouTube videos are not stupid, and so, believe me when I say, yeah, you probably can tell it too, it's a slow news day around the NHL. So, what I wanted to do was go out there and gather some of the extra news and tidbits of information from yesterday and today's sort of Vancouver Canucks related cycle. There's a lot of Islanders talk in there too, but it kind of relates to the Vancouver Canucks. We did the same kind of video for the Montreal Canadiens about an hour or two ago. So today, let's go out there and talk about Quinn Hughes, let's talk about Elias Pettersson, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks, and go over maybe one of the guys who got away from this team. Who really knows? I'll let you be the judge. But yesterday, with Quinn Hughes' first assist on the Brock Boeser 2-1 goal against the Washington Capitals, Quinn Hughes boosted his 2023-24 totals to 13 goals and 64 assists for 77 points in 68 games played, adding to his lead for the most points amongst all defensemen this season. Now, that right there, pretty good. I mean, first defenseman in the NHL in points, not a big deal, but Hughes set a Canucks record, surpassing his 2022-2023 total of 76 points to establish a Canucks record for most points in a season by a defenseman. So this is cool. We didn't talk about this yesterday because, hey, I think I was pretty frustrated about the Canucks and the way they were playing, and based off of the comment section, it seemed like a lot of y'all were too. But Quinn Hughes, with every surpassing point from here on out, will break the Canucks record for most defenseman points in a year. He will add on to his own record, that in which was set yesterday, and of course the record that he broke was from last year. From himself too. So Quinn Hughes pretty much is putting himself in the conversation of best Canucks defenseman of all time. I don't really think it's all up for debate at this point anymore. I mean, by the time his career continues, I mean, he'll be in a spot where once 2020, let's say 2029 rolls around, let's say 2033 rolls around, and Quinn Hughes is already an established NHL vet, there's no telling how many gosh darn points this guy's going to be able to accrue throughout his career. He will be the top Canucks scoring defenseman of all time. He may even be one of the top players of all time. Who really knows? And I mean, look, knock on wood, nothing happens to Quinn. He doesn't get traded or anything like that. But for now, I mean, 77 points on the year. Not a bad look for the top scorer for all defensemen in the NHL right now. There also were a few other notes that were highlighted on the NHL stats column in this Capitals and Canucks game, just a few other things. TJ Oshie had his 1,000th game, JT Miller leading the Canucks with 87 points. He didn't have a point last night, unfortunately. Quinn Hughes got himself the record, and then Alex Ovechkin became the third player in NHL history with 19 consecutive 20-goal seasons, and the sixth with 19 or more at any point in his career. This was it, I guess, from yesterday's game, but based off of some of the reactions online, I wanted to go over some of the other conversations sparked up around Canucks superstar Elias Pettersson, because he had Canucks Army that went out there and tweeted this out. Should Canucks fans be worried about the recent performance of EP40? And the replies all have varying degrees of expression here. Hell yeah. Imagine the trade that could have been taken place with Carolina. Petey is not a dominant player. Nope, I'm not worried. We're a bit overhyped mentally about the contract. He will be back. Another reply says the Canucks paid a price for Petey on what they'll think he'll do. Obviously, the price tag is that of a superstar, and he's doing nothing to put himself in the echelon of McDavid, Matthews, and McKinnon. I'm sure he will improve, but Quinn Hughes is far more deserving of that money. Without a doubt, he is 25 and has major trouble skating. He wears an A, shows no leadership, isn't accountable. In the media, he wanted to play hardball for the money, and then he vanishes. Can't drive a line, can't drag his team into the fight. All the red flags were there before the deal. That's a really harsh comment. So, interestingly enough, the fact is there isn't really a consensus here in regards to Elias Pettersson. A lot of fans are saying they are worried. A lot of fans are saying they're not. A lot of fans are being cooler heads about this and saying, yeah, no, we just gotta wait, he's still young. And other fans are saying, hey, he's 25 and he can't stay on his feet. There's a lot of concern here with Elias Pettersson, so I wanted to toss the same question out to you here on this video. Are you worried about the recent performance of Elias Pettersson, and what does this spell into the long term? The guy signed for $11-point-something million a year. Is he gonna play like he's worth that money? And if not, when will he? There are a bunch of other replies here. I mean, hungry for gossip. There you go, right? criticizing the media out here. Yes and no. No, I don't think Petey really cares about what the fans think. He's arrogant and already has a new contract, so he doesn't care anymore. Louis Eriksson 2.0. That is crazy. What a take there. Of course, we are just going over isolated comments. There are a bunch of others that are a lot more rational than calling Pettersson the next Louis Eriksson, but it is something to think about. If you wanted to go over to a Canucks analyst's perspective, this is what Thomas Drance went out there and said from earlier this morning. Is Elias Pettersson's recent form a concern? Not remotely, even though he hasn't been close to his best, but he's rolling with a 98.9 PDO since the All-Star break, so Canucks fans will say yes. This is kind of a tongue-in-cheek comment. Pretty much, Drance is saying that it's not really a concern the way that Pettersson's been playing, but we know that it's not close to his best. The thing is, though, with Canucks fans, Pettersson's been kind of unlucky ever since the All-Star break, so fans will go out there and say yes because they're used to being lucky. That's kind of the insinuation I feel that Drance is going out there and saying. Christian replies, he's not a McDavid or a Kucherov-type play driver, but that's okay. He's still a top 20 player in the league. He's for sure going to find his footing again, but the concern for me moving forward is consistency and being able to maintain his confidence. Drance then replies saying, Pettersson is absolutely a top-end play driver. Is it wrong to say that Pettersson's skating is brutal, his board play is weak, and his puck possession is mediocre? Drance then replies saying his skating is oddly suspect given his shiftiness and abilities as a puck carrier, but yeah, I think you're wrong about the rest of your assessment. So, board play is a bit stronger and his puck possession is strong too. Drance goes out there and does his fair share of defending for Elias Pettersson, which is kind of refreshing considering a lot of Canucks fans are used to seeing him be the negative Nancy around here. But also in Canuckland, I wanted to talk about this game that just wrapped up earlier this morning from the Islanders and the Rangers. 5-2 win for New York over New York, and of course the blue team ended up winning. But when it comes to the Islanders, their only 2 goals were scored by Bo Horvat today. He got 5 shots, 2 goals, 2 points, and one of the really interesting conversations I'm seeing around Islanders social media happens to revolve around Bo, because when it comes to the way he's been going, I mean, look, here's the goals scored in the NHL since the beginning of 22-23. I don't know if this is a complete list. I don't think it includes some of the absolute top guys like Pastrnak and Matthews, but Bo Horvat has had the same amount of goals as Tage Thompson and Artemi Panarin since the start of last year. Now, you could debate that a lot of this was inflated by playing on Vancouver, but seems like Islanders fans have really been digging the Bo Horvat trade ever since it happened. If it wasn't for Bo Horvat and the OT lost 3 points, this Islanders squad would be a lottery team. Another video, this is posted by the Islanders themselves. It's Bo Horvat's post-game comments. We know what we can do when we're on. We've beaten some really good teams this year and played some really good hockey. We've got to figure it out here soon. And then you can see what a lot of Islanders fans have to say. Unless your name is Bo Horvat, no player played well enough for us today. We're just not good enough, is all you can really say. It's a collective losing effort. Another reply says only 1 player showed up today, Bo Horvat. In this situation, that is disgraceful. And the funny part is, I mean, it's tough to really find, but there are some Canucks fans, and I say some very loosely, who have gone out there and used these 2 ideas and put them together. How Elias Pettersson hasn't really been his best, and how Bo Horvat has been pretty alright, and asking whether or not the Canucks really made the right choice. Now, I get it, it's a completely different discussion, not really the same thing we were talking about years ago at all. It was more so Bo Horvat versus JT that everybody was talking about, but seeing how good Bo has been lately, I mean, he's got 29 goals in 66 games played, on pace for about 36 points. Spoiler alert, Elias Pettersson still has more points than Bo Horvat, so there's that. But the fact that the Islanders suck right now, and they're losing all these games, and the only guy that's really showing up is Bo, kind of opens the door for the thought process, I'd say. Did the Canucks really get themselves the best deal possible when getting Bo Horvat? Now they have Filip Hronek, who played himself a pretty bad game yesterday, who is demanding a lot of money, and look, if Filip Hronek is able to go out there and sign for an $8 million AAV contract, something like that, that would just be $500,000 cheaper than what Bo Horvat ended up getting. So there's a little bit of a connection here. I just wanted to toss that out there because we're talking Canucks stuff. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Firstly, about Quinn Hughes getting himself the Canucks defenseman point record because, you know, he had it already, but he's breaking it even more. What are your thoughts about Elias Pettersson and the way that he's been playing? And what are your thoughts as well about Islanders Bo Horvat and how he's been doing well for an Islanders team that really isn't showing up? It's kind of funny how you could have a team that's doing poorly but still have a guy show up, right? It's not like the Canucks are doing that, but thoughts in the comment section either way. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.